A lot, Derek. Well, and Money Tuesday, strategic planning when you're out of work. Most people would think you have no choices when unemployed. Financial planner Stuart Welch disagrees. He joins us here in the studio. It's good to see you as always.
Good morning, Rick.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about this. I mean, there's still a good number of folks that are out there who are out of work. I mean, what choices do they have? What do they have to do when they're sitting here looking at long-term without new income coming in?
Well, I think the first thing is you want to go into what I would call financial crisis mode. Now, maybe it isn't a crisis, but you definitely want to get into the hunker down mode. And one of the mistakes I think a lot of people make is they continue to live the lifestyle that they had when they had a job and had a paycheck coming in. And that is a formula for disaster. You'll run through your, they'll be living off of a severance package, they'll run through the savings, and a lot of times they'll start to increase debt through credit card spending. And you end up in a much worse place.
And you say when you start talking about all this, it's got to be a team effort. Everybody's got to sit down in the household and start talking it through, right?
Well, I think another mistake they make is that they don't want they want the family to feel like nothing has really changed, that it's not really a crisis, when in fact it very well may be. And so it's really important to bring the family in, bring the children that are at least old enough to understand, and get everybody's help. And everybody, you know, is willing to pitch in if you ask, as opposed to trying to just impose things on them.
One of the other things you say is create a zero-based budget. Basically, manage your cash like it's the very last dollar. And in some cases, in worst-case scenarios, it could be for a while.
Zero-based budget is a little bit of a different concept, and we've actually created a help tool for the viewers at stuartwelch.com. If they go to the Resource Center and look up zero-based budget, they can get a tool to help them do that. But the concept of the zero-based budget is to go through your history the last 6-12 months and determine what all your expenses are, and then in the next column you go through and you say, I'm only going to put in this column that which I absolutely have to pay.
The necessities.
And it's the absolute necessities. It's not necessarily you're going to go to that budget, but it's just the concept is to give you an idea of what is the minimum amount of money that you have to pay there.
And you stress, and in some situations, I know it's a crisis where people say I have no alternative but you say if there's any way to avoid it, preserve those retirement accounts.
Two reasons. Number one, you're going to get hit with a federal penalty if you're under 59.5 of 10% plus ordinary income. So that can take up to 45% of the money in taxes and penalties. And the second reason is if you end up in a worst case scenario, if you end up in bankruptcy, money in retirement accounts is protected under bankruptcy law, so that can be your start over money. So you want to be really, really careful about that.
And finally, you say when you're out there, when you're looking for work, also keep the idea of creating a job perhaps for yourself.
You can create it. Just think about what your entrepreneurial skills are. But I think the other thing, Rick, is that think about that if you're out of work, you still have a job. It's 40 hours a week. It's 8 to 5, and the job is to get a job. And so you literally spend that time as if you're at the office and make your contacts and do interviews and put your resume out there. Do everything you can to be working on getting a new job.
All right, Stuart, always good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks, Rick.
Have a good week. More to come on Good Day Alabama. So where has Weird Al